Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jackverse. Hello everyone, welcome again. Today on the Jackverse I have a bit of a beef to share with all of you. Now I'll tell you where this is coming from. Last week I went to see the movie Whiplash. Now before I get into my beef, I will say the movie was brilliant. Everyone should see this film. Whether you're a jazz musician, a lover of jazz, or just a lover of good film. Or, if you just love to be entertained for a little bit, watch this movie. Brilliant performances, great writing, great direction. Go see it. Now, where does this beef come from? The beef comes from the fact that after the movie, I decided to see what various and sundry communities, what their reactions were to the film. Now, for the most part, people really loved the movie, but when you dug deep, like into the jazz community, you found out that they pretty much had no place for the film. They didn't think that it represented jazz in a good light. Now, of course, the teacher was brilliantly performed, but he was a little over the top. But I've had teachers like that. Some of us have. Now, that started making me think about the broader scope of things. And it reminded me of back in the 80s. There was a musician, and I won't tell who it was, but he was a jazz musician, and he was very obscure. Nobody really knew him. And then he wrote a pop song, and he released the pop song, and it got pretty popular, pretty big, pretty famous. I think it landed on the top 10 for a brief time. When he was asked about this pop song, he brushed it aside. And he said that the only pure form of music, the only relevant form of music, was jazz. Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of brushes off classical music, which clearly came before jazz, and it dismisses every form of music that ever came together to create jazz. Now, you could take that into the broader scheme of things. And then all of a sudden you discover that there are people in the world that have that same viewpoint of all different forms of art. You have people that think that the only form of quality movie is drama. You have people that think the only form of relevant book is literature. That's pretty dismissive, and that's pretty short-sighted. And that is where my beef comes from. I am a horror writer, and I say that with pride. And that's what anybody out there that creates a form of art that is in a subgenre like horror, that's where it all needs to begin. When someone comes up to you and they ask, "What do you do?" They find out you're an author. What do you write? You don't look at them and say, "I write horror, you probably wouldn't like it." No, 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 no. That is doing yourself a disservice. It is selling you short. It is also selling your entire genre short, and all of those other authors that write in that genre. So when someone comes up to you and they know you're an author and they say, "Hey, what do you write?" You look at them square in the eye and you say, "I'm a horror author, and I'm proud of it, and I know you'll like what I wrote." Why not? Now, this whole beef of mine kind of trickles over into another issue that I want to address really quickly. In the world of art, in the world of film and music and books, almost without fail, people adore the indie musician. And they put the indie filmmaker on a pedestal. Yet, the indie author, they usually go over in this little trash heap over here. Take, for instance, on Facebook. I belong to a lot of different groups on Facebook for different genres, different mediums, whatever. As an example, if you're in a film group, let's say a horror film group, and you are an indie filmmaker, and you have a film that you want everybody to know about. And you're on this Facebook group, and you post in this Facebook group, hey guys and gals, I've got this great new film I just finished making. It's low budget, it comes from the heart, and I think you'll enjoy it. And generally speaking, the people in the group will go, oh, that's awesome. Show us a link. Where can we watch it? Awesome. That's good. That's great for indie filmmakers. Now, you go over to another group, let's just say another generic horror group on Facebook, and you're an indie author. And you do the same thing. Hey, guys and gals, I just finished writing this great horror book. It's published. I think you'll all enjoy it. Here's the link. Read it. The first thing out of everybody's mouth is, or out of their fingers is, sigh, another thread ruined by self-promotion. Because it's okay, generally speaking, it's okay for indie filmmakers and indie musicians to promote their work. But the second an author decides, I'm going to do that too, they get outcast. Now, I understand the feelings behind this, because there are a lot of authors out there. Let me take that back. There are a lot of writers out there who do nothing but spam. And to those people, if you are one of those authors that the only thing you post on Twitter or the only thing you post on Facebook is buy my book, shame on you. Shame on you, because you are ruining it for everyone else. And on top of that, you will never, ever find any success doing that. Because it's just like the Radio Shacks of the 90s. People walk in and all of these salesmen are right on them, and people walk right out. So stop doing that, okay? On the same turn, for those people that are in these groups where you have these indie authors that genuinely and without coming across as spam bots, they invite you to view their work, be open to it. Because one of these days, one of these authors is going to say, hey, read my book. It's just published. I think you'll like it. One of these days you're going to read that book, and the next thing you know, that author is going to be the next Stephen King or Clive Barker, and you will have been the first on the bandwagon. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now, remember, speak of your genre with pride. And don't spam the world. Those are just some of the two best advice I can give you. Now, when people ask me about my approach to promoting myself and my work, I take a different approach to it. I tend to, I promote myself. I promote me instead of my work, because I always figure if people are interested in me, then they'll eventually be interested in my work. It's a longer process, but the payoff, I think, is much greater. In the end, I guess we'll all see. Just like whether or not there's a heaven and a hell. One of these days, we're going to die and we're going to realize, oh, hell, I was wrong. Or not. Anyway, that's another tangent I won't get in. I've droned on long enough. Thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of this little crazy madness of mine. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy and support the arts as much as you can. Thank you, and have a great day.